What's going on YouTube? Smashing Pumpkin here, coming at you guys with hopefully a very quick video. I just wanted to discuss a little bit about the tournament that I went to on Saturday, and basically just kind of what happened, what went down. On Saturday I went to my local card store, and I was there to just play a traditional format. I wanted to play with Exchange of the Spirit before it got banned. There was a VIP tournament going on, which is, if you guys don't know, it allows you to have like a 2-round bye at the next YCS, etc. It's like generally held in areas close by upcoming events. It gives players in the area a little bit better chance of wanting to go to the event and then having a good shot at competing. Our turnout was pretty awful. We had 7 people show up for the event with I think it was 10 people that pre-registered, and I don't think a lot of them showed up. So they needed another person to sign up for the event. I volunteered to, and then if one other person showed up, people would be able to play Swiss rounds, which is really what they were looking forward to, because a lot of people had Necros or Burning Abyss, and they wanted to get some good testing in. And they thought this would be a good place, but it didn't really happen. No one else showed up, so we moved straight on into the draft portion of the VIP tournament, which is structured a lot like a YCS because you play Swiss rounds, and then you cut to top 8, which is draft. And nobody was super excited about drafting because they'd never really done it before. I do a little bit of Magic the Gathering drafting, and I've drafted Battle Pack 3 a few times. Another thing that made this draft kind of shitty though was that we didn't use the monster draft. We used Battle Pack 1 with the monster rules, which if you look at some of the cards in Battle Pack 1 with the monster rules, it can get a little bit ridiculous, but that's for another discussion entirely. So we eventually get started drafting, and people are having a good time, and then the round started, and the table next to me, one of the guys who, I don't think he watches my videos. Well, obviously he doesn't. He called me fucking Eric during the tournament, so segue. So the guy next to me, he was playing his game, and he ended up losing to a magic cylinder on his attacking monster, and he just completely flips out. He said that he didn't see any of his good cards, he got sacked, it isn't a skillful format, his opponent saw his good cards, and that was the only way that he won. Which his opponent kind of responded with, isn't that just how Yugioh is though? Which was super fire comeback, words, they matter. So he kind of had an entitlement attitude. I think he was one of the people that thought they knew what was going on in the draft format, which is not entirely true. So here's the brief defensive draft. The first thing is that it teaches you to evaluate cards in a vacuum, and cards that normally never see play or cards that are not very good outside of draft tend to do some good work in draft. One example of this are cards that change battle position, like No Entry and Windstorm of Equita. Those cards can be pretty devastating when played at the right time. And those cards generally aren't very good outside of draft. You'll never see someone play Windstorm in their fucking meta deck. That doesn't really exist. And also cards that are decent outside of draft tend not to be very good inside of draft. One card that was definitely overvalued during our draft was Treeborn Frog, and people thought that was really good for enabling the tribute summons, and it really isn't. It's just very slow to set up. You need it turn 1 for your set, and then then it's good, but outside of turn 1 it just immediately starts losing all its value because you have to take a turn off from actually summoning something or committing something to the board to setting a card, which tended not to really fare very well for people. So there's definitely skill there in seeing which cards and evaluating cards, because that will be how you make your deck, and if you evaluate it correctly, then you're going to have an advantage over the people that didn't evaluate their cards nearly as well. Second point that I want to make is that it teaches strong technical play. Declaring phases, baiting out cards, not overcommitting to board, making solid game pushes, knowing when and how, building chains, properly using the resources that you have for your turn. Like, all these are definitely very, like, skill building aspects of the game. Some of them are overlooked in competitive play because a lot of the times it just kind of degenerates to, like, comboing, and you have to make moves, essentially, because the tempo of the game kind of dictates it. And 3, it's kind of a level playing field. Everyone is playing with random cards. Since you're only playing with 45 cards, and you have to build a 40-card deck, like, only 5 cards are going to get cut, and sometimes you have extra deck cards as well. Sometimes you don't really get to cut cards from your deck, so you're kind of stuck playing with cards like Giant Soldier of Stone that you aren't really very thrilled about playing, but they are at the very least, like, playable. Also, you don't really know exactly what's in your opponent's deck, and they don't really know what's in your deck, so it's not like you're getting, like, super metagamed against, or things like that. That's just my 2 cents on the draft format. I know that people are definitely pretty polarized on drafting in general, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below on draft format. I'm signing off now. Bye.